Hi, everybody. I'm Katey Dallosto, otherwise known as Coach Katey. I've been a realtor for over 20 years. I've been a national speaker for 15, and I love to empower real estate agents with the skills that I learned when I was in corporate sales. And actually, today's presentation is called Selling Like a 6-Year-Old. I started my sales career when I was 6 years old because I went to Catholic school. And I'm just going to give you a little tips and tricks on being a salesperson and getting some sales skills. I know a lot of real estate agents will say to me, "Oh, I'm not really a salesperson." And I think there's a different mindset that I just want to challenge you with today, that we're all salespeople. If you talk to your partner about where you want to go to dinner and you're really passionate and excited about that dinner choice, you are a salesperson. We are often salesperson with our kids and family members and friends. And sometimes when we are passionate about something around our business, we become salespeople. Sales is a really good skill to have, and it's around energy and passion and vision. And I know some of the sales terms sometimes gets a bad rap, and it's important that these skills that you need to be successful in your business do require some sales ability. In order for us to be successful with our real estate business, we've got to have that passion and energy like a 6-year-old. So let's get started. So this is a little bit of my background. I'm an author of a book called Fortune Cookie Leadership. I'm a certified success coach. Yes, that is me and my Catholic First Communion dress because I did learn to sell as a 6-year-old. And I actually have 3 adult children. My dad grew up watching the Rockford Peaches play. We are baseball people. My son plays college baseball. And actually, that's where the Coach Katey name came from, is that I was my son's Little League coach. And the 5- and 6-year-olds were calling me Coach Katey, and the name stuck. So here we are. So let's get started. I want to get started a little bit around how we think about leads. And this is what I call the lost leads conversation. And so if you have a pen and pencil, you put this on pause if you need to, grab a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, because I want you to write this down and think about this. One of the things I do as a coach is I often challenge people's perspective. Perspective and point of view is valuable. And I know we've all had this experience working with our own clients when they're thinking or have learned something about real estate, maybe that's outdated or that was a social media post and it may not be actually true. So I want you to be open to a change in perspective on what a lead is and where we might be losing leads and we might be stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. So I'm giving you that time to pick up your piece of paper and pencil. The lost leads conversation, I'm just going to have you think about all of 2023, or depending on when you're watching it, just your last year. It was how many transactions did you close? And I'm just going to give some examples I've done this conversation dozens and dozens of times. And so this is just a number we're going to use as just an example. So if you close 25 transactions in a calendar year, congratulations, it's fantastic. And that's a great year. And then my question to you is, how many real estate transactions do you have in an average year? I put down an example of 500, and that kind of as a brain explosion. But I want you to think about this. Think about an average week and write down on your paper, in an average week, how many times does somebody ask you, how's the market? It's the number one question asked to us as real estate agents. Sometimes we are asked, what are rates? But how's the market is that question. And that's a real estate conversation. There are also conversations you may have at open houses or networking events. We can add to that. And most people say around 10 conversations that they're going to have in an average week, from a networking event, from the how's the market question, and possibly an open house. Some people say, hey, I get 10 times a week. People ask me, how's the market? So it might just be more than 10. So the number that I hear on average is about 10 real estate conversations a week. And if you work 50 weeks a year, that's 500 real estate transactions in an average year. Your number might be higher or lower, but it doesn't matter whatever your number is, because your business is yours and uniquely you. So whatever that number is, write it down, and we're going to run through a little exercise here. So if you sold 25 transactions in the last year and had 500 real estate transaction or conversations, what happened to those other 475? What happened to those people? Did you capture their information? Did you find out why they were asking, how's the market? Did you put them in your contact management system, the names in your phone? Where are those people? What did they do with real estate in the last 12 months? What happened to the 475 people that didn't close a transaction with you out of those 500 from the previous year? How many of those people say that might have bought or sold real estate with somebody else, or possibly referred another realtor that wasn't you? So realtors will typically tell me only about 10% of those people may have bought or sold real estate with somebody else. NAR statistics has said that it's actually 40%. Whatever that number is, and let's say, because we're realtors having this conversation, that it's 10%. Let's say it's 10. 10% of the 475 might have bought or sold real estate with somebody else. Well, how many of those people might have bought or sold real estate from you? If you had stayed in touch with them, if you had connected with them, if you had some sort of a drip campaign for the how's the market people that was going to stay in touch with them, give you a reason to call them, how many of those people might have bought or sold real estate with you? Well, if we say half, all right, so we said, okay, 10% of 475, we'll round that up to 50, and half of those people are 25. So 25 people might have bought or sold real estate with you. That's your lost business. Those lost leads are those people that we talked to in a casual conversation, but didn't really take it to that next step to really capture their information. Yes, I know I'm making you sad. I promise I'll make it better. So they said if your average commission check is $10,000, and I know there's some parts of the country where it's much larger than $10,000, but if it's say that's $10,000 for an average commission check, and you had 25 lost transactions, that's $250,000. That's a big number. That's a number that can change lives. That's organizations you can impact. What does $250,000 mean for you? And would that $250,000 make an impact with different things in your life? The answer is usually yes. Now, most people are like, oh, I know the fortunes in the follow-up. We've heard it over and over and over again, yet we fail to do it. We feel awkward about calling somebody who asks us, how's the market and how does this work? And how do we make it fun? How do we make it engaging? How do we make that we look forward to making those calls? And I'm going to show you. This is how we get to sell like a 6-year-old. Because when we are doing those follow-up items, that follow-up fun, that you actually can engage like a 6-year-old. And so if you have ever been a 6-year-old, you know how passionate 6-year-olds can be. If you have ever seen a 6-year-old, if you have a 6-year-old in your house, if you've ever spent time with 6-year-olds that are standing out front of a grocery store selling whatever fundraiser they're doing, and their energy and passion is contagious. My son was 6 years old in the back seat, and he was passionate. He wanted to go to an event. And I was saying, no, we can't go today. He goes, well, how about, and what if we, and could we, and what if? And he was a master of objection handling. And I was like, wow, as a sales trainer, this is incredible. It's just like a clinic on objection handling. As his mother, he was driving me crazy. And so I'm like, how do we harness that selling like a 6-year-old? Why is he really comfortable selling his idea, his vision, his passion? And we as adults will shy away from it and feel this awkwardness or sometimes even that ickiness. And it's like, where did we lose that? So if you've ever been a 6-year-old, you know how to sell. And you can harness that inner 6-year-old inside of you and focusing on that goal, because being a 6-year-old is fun. This is my favorite sales book of all time. I said I was in corporate sales for many, many years, for a dozen years before getting into real estate. I've held multiple sales roles in the real estate industry in my career. And this is the best sales book I've ever read. because it's simple. So if you are looking for a simple sales book or a book that you could read every week very quickly to sharpen your sales skills, read Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. Sam I Am asked his friend, or asked, we don't know if they're friends, asked the other person 72 times, would you like green eggs and ham? Now, if you've read the book, you know there's rhymes. Would you like it in a boat? Would you like it in a boat? Yeah, there's all these different fun things. But what makes it fun is, one, the pace of it. And two, that Sam I Am is so sure that his friend is going to like it. He keeps coming back, and he keeps coming back with energy, with creativity, with playfulness. I'm like, you got to try this. This is such an amazing thing. And we can be that same way about our business. We know that owning a home is the largest financial investment of most people's lives. We know that owning a home is statistically the number one indicator of generational wealth. It changes not only the lives of our customers, it changes the lives for generations to come. And it's important, and there's value, and we can help, and we know how to help people navigate this whole thing. We just got to remind them that this is so fun. And spoiler alert, at the end of Green Eggs and Ham, his friend looks at him and says, thank you, Sam I Am. Thank you. And that can be the same for us. Persistent does pay off. Now, 72 times. I was like, oh my God, that seems like a lot. What if it's 72 times over 5 years? What if it's 72 times over a year? That we're asking people and reminding people what we do and how well we do it. What does that look like? How could that be fun? How could we creatively ask 72 times in a year if somebody would like green eggs and ham? So I want you to think back when you were a kid, when you were 6 years old and you ran out onto the playground. What did you like to play? Was it the swings? Was it hopscotch? Was it tag? Was it tetherball? Was it football? Was it soccer, basketball? What did you play? Did you play marbles? What did you play as a kid? And when you went out on the playground and you're like, hey, I want to go play kickball today, or I want to go on the swings, you looked around and found somebody who might want to go on the swings with you. And you asked them, hey, you want to go on the swings with me? Want to play kickball today? And what happened when somebody said no? We didn't stand there and cry. We didn't make us sad. Like, oh, okay, you don't want to do swings? I'm going to go find somebody that does. And you might keep coming back to that same person over and over again over time. And one of the things that we sometimes forget is that when we're talking to people about what we do, sometimes people don't really understand it. We're in the middle of it. We're talking about real estate every day. We're understanding the changes and the ebbs and flows of the business and the seasonality and all of these other things and tools and programs. Most people aren't doing this. They're not thinking about real estate as much as we are. So they might not ever understand how all of this makes sense. So maybe we need to teach somebody, just like your friend. Your friend says, I don't know how to play kickball. Why do you like kickball so much? Why is it so interesting to you? And so it's like, oh, you don't know the rules. Well, why don't you come and let me show you how to play kickball, which is educating our friends, our family, our past clients, our sphere of influence, educating the public about real estate and teaching your friends like you did as a 6-year-old when they don't know how to play whatever game you wanted to play. And you taught them all the rules and why you liked it and why it was fun. And maybe it's going to be fun for them and maybe it's not, but you're not attached to whether or not they play kickball with you. You're not attached to even if they play kickball at all. You're just going to show them why you like it so much because it's fun. When we keep asking and making friends, people are attracted to our enthusiasm. This is why the kids selling out in front of the grocery store get so much attention because their energy and enthusiasm is contagious. So is yours. Now, I'm kind of a rah-rah person, and so my energy and enthusiasm comes off really strong. Not everybody is at this level of the energy and enthusiasm. Your level of enthusiasm needs to be matching who you are. And your passion and focus and commitment and energy needs to be contagious for who you are and the type of client that you want to attract. Not every kid wants to play kickball at recess. People are going to play differently. So how you play will attract other people that want to play the game that you like. And that's what's fun about making this unique and being an entrepreneur is you get to be passionate about whatever is important to you. But make sure keep asking and make friends and find new kids on the playground that maybe you hadn't met before that are an opportunity for you to continue to have fun and to play and to be passionate about this business. So this is the number one way that people come up and talk to us. We talked about monetizing this and saying, hey, how are we capturing some of those how's the market business? This, I believe, is how people are talking to us on the playground. People are coming up to us and saying, hey, I see you play kickball. How's kickball? Right? And so I want to challenge your thinking around the market. Because how's the market is a question that we have trained the public to ask us. And some people go, oh, it's just a casual conversation of like, how are you? And I disagree. I believe that people ask us, how's the market? Because they need help. People do understand intellectually that this is the largest financial investment of their lives. This is a deeply personal question. If this is the largest financial investment of my life, I'd like to make sense of this. I want to understand how this all can work for me. People don't ask us how's the market because they don't know. If you have Google, you can Google how's the market for your town or your neighborhood. Simple, it's numbers. They have so much access to data. The most recent NAR survey on buyers and sellers actually have noticed that since some of these online data sources have come out of like, what's my home worth? What's my home worth? Since those came out about 20 years ago, the need for realtors has gone up. It used to be 67% of buyers and sellers use a realtor. Now it's 88%. So the more data that's out there, the more people need our help because it's too much. It's like walking into Home Depot and you just need a hammer. I always need help. It's not that I don't know how a hammer works. I just go on the wall and there's too many hammers and I'm like, I get confused. One of my friends says, hey, we've been around campfires longer than we've been around computers. When it comes to all of this data, we need our friends, our tribe around the campfire. We need a guide to help make sense of this. People are asking us, how's the market? Not because they're unable to get the data. They're asking us, how's the market? Because they want to know what it means to them. They understand what it can mean from a number standpoint, from generational wealth, but they need our help. This is our opportunity to step up as a trusted advisor. So people are like, well, what do you say then? Well, this is an opportunity to get curious. So I really believe that if somebody asks me, how's the market, that I need to get personal quickly because it might be it could be, and it should be sometimes a quick 90-second conversation. Somebody says, how's the market? I'm going to say, it depends. And there's a couple options here. You can say, it depends. Are you buying or selling? It depends. What address? Hey, what's going on? It depends. What are we talking about? And just, be curious, however you want to ask it. Some people say, hey, buying or selling. I like to say, hey, what address are we talking about? I grew up in a town where there are 3 school districts in the same city of 70,000 people. So depending on literally what side of the street your house is on, depended the value because of what high school was assigned to that side of the street or the other. So it's really important to know the exact address. And I think every town has that where you are on what block of the town will determine the value of your home. And sometimes it's not only the home, their home. So sometimes it's my niece got married last weekend and asked me if it's a good time to buy. I don't really know. Great grandma fell and broke her hip and she can't do the stairs anymore of her 2-story house. And she's lived there for 50 years. And oh my gosh, it's overwhelming to think about how we're going to help great grandma transition. Like, this is crazy. So you can provide value for both of those. And a lot of times, and I will admit that probably 90% of the time, when somebody is asking how's the market, they're asking what it means to them and their own house, even if they're not looking to sell, which is fine. So it doesn't matter if they're looking to sell or not. They just want a trusted advisor. So get curious until we can get together. Look, most of us as people will meet with our financial advisor once a year to reassess like our retirement, our investments, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, what have you. We meet with our financial advisor once a year. I talk to my CPA multiple times during the year, but at least once a year, you're talking to the CPA. How many times a year are people meeting with their trusted advisor around their largest financial investment of their life, which is their home? And we don't think of the how's the market that way, because I don't know we've ever talked about it this way. So I'm here to change your perspective and hopefully create some sort of a ripple effect that when somebody asks us how's the market, it's our opportunity to stand up, put our superhero cape on, and book an appointment with somebody to sit down and talk to them about their largest financial investment of their lives. And frankly, it's a great reason to call your database as well. It's like, hey, you know what? We've not done any sort of a real estate review with you in a while. Why don't I come over and see what you've done? We can update some of what your current value is. I know you're not going to sell, but people will refer you differently when you've had a sit-down conversation about their largest financial investment in their home, giving them some ideas to create additional value. So, sorry, we did a role play on this one. We don't need to do that. But this is overall what I wanted to change your mindset about, is around these lost leads. That when somebody asks us, how's the market? When people are talking to us about real estate at a networking event, book an appointment. Get together with them, sit down with them, go play, go have recess with somebody, go someplace fun. Or if you come to their house, bring something fun. So make it fun to talk about what we do and how we do it. I believe that if you go to somebody's house, even if they're not thinking about buying or selling real estate at all, and you give them a true value of what is happening in their neighborhood with their house, with all of their updates and upgrades, and you give them ideas on some things that they could do to their house to enjoy for the next 20 years that they're going to live there, and that will add value to the house, that they will refer you differently. It's a different referral when somebody says, oh my gosh, I met with my realtor a couple weeks ago and they came over with all this great information and you've got to call them, versus I know a guy, I know a gal, and I know someone in real estate, is a totally different conversation. I also believe that because that people are asking how's the market, it is a lead. It is a warm lead. It is somebody who's saying, they're raising their hand and saying, I need help understanding this business. And we don't know why. And because we don't ask that second question, hey, what's going on? Let's sit down. Let's talk about what's going on with you. Or is it extended family or what have you, or a friend or a coworker? I have no idea. So what we want to learn is that we need to take that how's the market question and turn it into an appointment. I believe firmly that how's the market is the international sign for book an appointment. And so we need to take those questions that we seem to get every day and turn them into appointments so that they can see how amazing and how valuable you are to the industry, to them, to their friends and their family. And we know in any market, we need to stay in touch with our database. And it's a reason to call your database. It's a reason to book appointments. Hey, we haven't sat down and talked about what's going on. And who knows what opportunities are there unless we have the opportunity to sit down and have the conversation. And if you'd like to keep in touch, feel free to scan the QR code. And thank you so much for your time. Make it a great day.